All right. First, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Heather. Happy
Thank
New
you.
Year, all of you out there. Welcome back to Happy Hour with Heather and Guest, with Heather and myself, that other dude, Andrew. We're traipsing into 2023 with chock full of enthusiasm. And this is being episode 55. We're kicking off the year with Heather's turn. She suggested three bands for us to listen to: Stonekind, Massive Stone, and Dust Prophet. So I'm excited. Stonekind, we had two albums to choose from: the Stonekind EP and the Spirit of the Void. So kicking things off with Stonekind, I picked the track Black Molasses.
Yes. Stonekind. And this EP is from 2019. Black Molasses. Incredible heavy blues, and the tone of the guitar blows me away. Beautiful, soulful vocals. This music is contemplative. It pulls you inward. It made me think, my soul is permanently damaged, but if I ever were to be happy, would I still love music like this? Would I all of a sudden want to listen to pop music? Or something like that? I don't know, but I hope not, because I never want to stop listening to music like this.
Yeah, I can't picture you listening to the Kooks like Martin used to, or Scroobius Pip. Um, yeah, no, I couldn't see it no matter what. So
Yeah.
but no, this was, again. I also said this was. I said this was a subtle bluesy jam, and I said the whole time it's like a Milton Berle scenario. Like I was just waiting for them to unleash, the musicianship that I know they're just sort of holding back on. It reminded me a little bit of the spacey element of the band we listened to before called The Machine from the Netherlands. There's sort of a psychedelic atmosphere to it. And then about a minute and a half into the song, the dam bursts, and it just takes you away. Speeds up with the tempo at the end with a nifty little solo. So I always like words like that, nifty. So there we go. And yeah, so off of the Stonekind EP, kicking it off with Black Molasses, and then we've got It's Alive.
Yeah, and this song is like a circle that begins and ends the same way. And in the center, there's some amazing guitar playing. I'm astonished by all the different notes that he can make with the guitars. It's really incredible. There's a lot of layers. This is a four-song EP that will absolutely just knock your socks off.
Yeah, this one I felt also had it. They really dig their subtle openings where you don't really expect what's going to happen, and then all of a sudden, again, they bust down the door with a solid jam. This is sort of another desert rock bluesy, and then at some point in the song, I found myself going jugga, 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 like, because it has that sort of jugga jugga type feel to it. So it felt like it would be the perfect song playing during Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome when they're trying to escape from anti entity and her gang. So there we go, kicking things off the Stonekind EP, and that brings us into Spirit of the Void. And the first track is Ashes Part Two.
Yes, there is an Ashes Part One also. This album was released in 2021. Ashes Part Two. I like all the different genres within the stoner umbrella that are they're expertly woven together. You can't really pigeonhole this music. The vocals, the music, they're exactly where they need to be. It's all well thought out and expertly crafted. Nothing is over the top. I didn't feel like they're not showing off, or there's no showmanship.
Yeah, I it was interesting because I was like, can I just pick Ashes Part Two and just skip Part One? But this
We
one,
can do whatever we
we
want.
can, and we do. We do. I mean, look at me. I'm wearing a hat that I bought in 1987 for a Freddy Krueger outfit, and as one of my godmother's ex-husband, who was a teacher, used to say, "You never get rid of your props." So I'm
That's good
rocking a fedora.
advice. Very good advice.
Absolutely. So I think I may have invented a new term for us. This one I felt Ashes Part 2 was bluesy, but also doomy. So would you call it bloomy? Is it bloom? Um, there's also some proggy stuff going on with a tempo change. And really, any time a song has any kind of tempo change, I'm calling it proggy. So I actually have this written down. If you're sitting there huffing and puffing, just remember I'm a novice and I really don't know what I'm talking about. So anytime there's a tempo change, I'm going to say it's progressive. And if that's wrong, well, then you've been watching the wrong show. So
Yeah, we just do this for fun.
this is two people who dig the music and we love tasty jams and we'll give you our 2 cents. We wear our hearts on our sleeves. We wear awesome helmet and earthless gear with
Yeah.
fedoras and excellent stickers on walls. So, so there you go. So then I felt like why not go with I like to if an album has a title track, I like to include the title track. So next up we have Spirit of the Void off of Spirit of the Void.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you included this one. This song is absolutely stunning. I really like the desert and bluesy vibe that it has. It has a soulfulness to it. The way it's structured just absolutely blows my mind. The vocals are perfect. They go so well with the music. There's an ease to it that's really hard to pull off with this level, of musicmanship. That ease. It is something really hard to pull off, but I feel that they do it really, really well. This is incredibly well done.
Definitely. This one, it was interesting because so this one I felt was slow creeping. That's the sense I got. It sort of crept up on you, um, and it reminded me of a dance move I learned when I was in my early 20s called the Spider-Man walk, where you sort of put your arms out and you walk like you're, on the old Spider-Man live action when he would lurk. That was a move. That was the move, and then you'd go into the Bill Bellamy pop the top. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I felt like it's slow creeping, getting ready for mayhem. And a minute of I felt like the first minute and a half of it. So one thing I think when they used to make maps way back in the day, if there was a dangerous or unexplored area, they would write on the map, "Here be tigers" or "Here be dragons," as sort of like a warning. I felt like this song would be playing as I was reading a map that said "Here be tigers." Like, this is chill for now, but watch out because at any second the floor might drop out. This was another Bloom, another doomy blues, but this was probably had my favorite riff for the chorus because it was really melodic. I felt like a lot of times you don't really hear blues or doom embrace melody the way that they did. So Spirit of the Void, I'm really glad I picked it. That turned out to be probably my favorite of their tracks so far.
Yeah, I think it's my favorite too. Yeah.
Um, and then next up, I went with Untethered.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed the heavy progressive elements and the soaring vocals. The song is higher, faster, uplifting, has a joyful tone to it. The song is about setting yourself free, and that really does come across in the music. It's brilliant. There's also incredible guitar riffs, and I thought the drumming was really amazing too.
Yeah, this one I wrote it feels like a Tool song kind of. The way that they sort of have kind of an industrial progressive metal feel. I felt like I got hints of that. it's still very much the same band. You know, they haven't completely done a left turn, but this was the first track that I was like, oh, I think I'm getting, you know, like I was tasting wine or smelling wine and being like, I think I'm getting hints of Tool. But and yeah, like you said, some really cool vocal effects and some wah wah effects that were great. Um, but yeah, it was one of those tracks where sometimes we listen to bands where they just do the same thing really well. So you end up picking like four tracks that sound similar, but they're all like A pluses. With this group, I feel like there's enough nuance and subtlety between the tracks that they all sound different, but it's definitely the same band and they're making great music. So
Yeah.
and then second to last, or last, I should say, we have Behold the Stone.
Yeah. I know what I'm feeling, but putting it into words is difficult for me. Sometimes I have to think for a long time before I can come up with the right words to say. That's one reason why I love music so much, is because it is an expression. The song is about laying down your burdens. That's another form of freedom. This is the perfect music to listen to start off the new year. There's a gapless, I thought this was really cool. There's a gapless version of this. It's the very last song, and it's gapless, so you can listen to the whole album without any interruptions. I really recommend doing that. And then that way you just get lost in the music. And I think that's just really a wonderful way to appreciate it.
Definitely. If you get the chance, it's like watch it. They released something called the Godfather Saga years ago, where they took all the Godfather movies and put them in chronological order. So it's like one 6 hour thing. Um, but yeah, no, I feel like if you could listen to the whole album, you should, because a lot of albums are meant to be listened to like
Yeah.
that. Um, this one, I said it was a return to the subtlety with the power just kind of lurking beneath the surface, like bubbling. It reminded me of the scene. I don't know if you've seen the movie Braveheart,
Yeah.
when the English are charging and they've designed spears, and William Wallace keeps saying hold, hold, and
Yeah.
and they keep getting close. I felt like that was the same sort of power was like lurking, that same kind of hold, and like I kept waiting for the song to just crest. But it was, I mean, it was great. It was great. They really know how to craft a jam, in my humble
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
sounds like, I mean, we're both big fans of Stonekind. Definitely worth checking out these albums. Heather has cobbled together a playlist, which is on YouTube, that you should peruse before you listen to us wax philosophical. But either way, next up we've got Behold the Stone or Dust Prophet.
Massive Stone? You want to do Massive Stone?
What did I said Behold the Stone. I'm sorry. Yes, Massive Stone. I was reading
Massive Stone.
Massive Stone or Dust Prophet. You want to do Massive Stone?
Yeah.
Okay, so Massive Stone. Have at
Massive Stone. And this album is called Animals, Hungry Ghosts, and Hell Beings. It was released September 2022. I got super excited when I started listening to this. I love guitar-driven heavy music. And when the vocals came in, I was like, this reminds me of something. And I thought about it for a while. And I was like, LA Guns. This reminds me of LA Guns. And do you know how long it's been since I've listened to LA Guns? It's been a long time. And do you think I went back and listened to LA Guns? Yes, I did. So, I mean, I just think that's so cool that this band, and they're from, let's see, is it, I know I had it written down. Portugal. Yeah, they're from Portugal. So I thought it was really cool that this band from Portugal is reminding me about a band, LA Guns. So I thought that was really cool. It reminds me of music, that I loved from my past. But back to this album, I love the screaming guitars and the wah wah was really cool. The energy is insane. I really enjoyed the grunge and psychedelic elements. The first song on the album is my favorite, but I also really like Mystic Triangle. It talks about feeling no pain and awakening your senses, letting ourselves be who we are. And the last song, Supermoon, is also incredible. And I just think this album, it rules.
Yeah, well, first of all, Animals, Hungry Ghosts, and Hell Beings is a phenomenal title. So
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I give credit to that. It's interesting you mentioned LA Guns because for me it was Soundgarden.
Oh,
That's
really?
that's yeah. Well, the opening track especially,
Yeah.
Parhelia or Parhelia, but I felt like that's who I was getting a sense. I was like, oh, okay. One thing that I love about finding contemporary bands is when I recognize like the baton they can take from a previous band. So like every so often I'll be like, oh, this band could take the baton from Caius, who isn't making music anymore, or this band could take So for this one, I was like, oh, well, that's awesome. They could take the Soundgarden baton and keep running with it, and then it's like I never lose out on anything because now I have a new band.
Yeah.
They don't sound exactly like Soundgarden, but that's an impression I got, especially off that first track. Once the vocals kicked in, I was like, oh, that's what this is reminding me of. But yeah, no, it's really, but that's really cool though that we both got an impression of bands that we liked from that we used to listen to, and it,
Yeah, and it's not like they sound like them. It's just that it brought up memories
yeah,
of,
yeah, it's the
you
same. I
know,
got the same. Yeah, they don't
yeah,
they don't sound like either band, but when we came away from listening to them, that's what we were thinking about.
yeah,
Yeah, no, that's awesome. But I would definitely recommend picking up Massive Stone. Check it out for yourselves. Come to your own conclusions. But it's definitely worth checking out Animals, Hungry Ghosts, and Hell Beings.
yeah, yeah.
And then the last band we have is Dust Prophet, who I think are from, I want to say Connecticut, or I know at least one of them is.
I think New Hampshire, if
It
I'm
could
not
be, yeah.
mistaken. Um, this album is going to be released on January 27th, and it's called One Last Look Upon the Sky. They've released 4 songs from this album that you can listen to now. And also, if you look through their singles, there's 2 more songs as singles that are on the album too. I looked through all of their singles and they have short descriptions of what the themes of the songs are or what the inspiration for the songs were. And I really like that a lot. I wish more bands would do that. I really enjoy the heavy low guitar and the strong vocals. There's some unconventional percussion and keyboards, which adds a lot of interest. Each song I listened to had something different. I think 2023 is going to be a really great year for music, and definitely this album is going to be a really, really good start to it. We're it's you know we're gonna it's gonna start with some exceptional music. So definitely pre-save this record. Look out for its release on the 27th.
Yeah, well, I know Otto Kinzel is a member of Dust Prophet, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
We've spoken to him before, or I've spoken to him before. I know you are familiar with his work. He
yeah,
had an album that he talked about that was a solo record. That's how I knew him before I knew of Dust Prophet. Um, I want to say it was called Radium Light, um, or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
But you remind because I remember he explained that the derivation of the album or the inspiration of the album
Yes.
were factory workers who ended up getting radium poisoning or radiation poisoning. Um,
Yes. They
so
were watchmakers.
right, so
Yeah.
it probably is the same sort of thing going on with the descriptions of the tracks and what the inspiration were for Dust
Yeah.
People. But yeah, this one, it was interesting because first of all, it's a very cool tone. They create a very cool tone. There are some proggy elements, and the band Helmet came to mind a couple times, just in terms of like the tone and the stop starts. Um, but again, like with Massive Stone, they're nothing like Helmet. That's just the sense I got when I was listening. I was like, oh, I'm coming away with a Helmet impression. But definitely worth checking out Dust Prophet. I think you're right. 2023 is going to be a great year for music. It's going to be a great year for Happy Hour with Heather and Guest. It's going to be a great year in total, knocking on wood. But
Yes.
but check out Stonekind, Massive Stone, and Dust Prophet. Three great bands that we've kicked off the year well. Another magnificent job, Heather. Thank you. And
Thank you.
it is my pleasure. And I've got big shoes to fill with the next bands we listen to, but hopefully we'll knock it out of the park. So
Yeah.
either way, for those of you out there, don't sleep on these bands. Check them out and have a happy new year.
Yes. Happy New Year.